What is up, everybody? This is your girl Riviera, better known as Riv. Sorry, it's flies out here, but you can just call me Riri. And I gotta tell y'all how life got me fucked up. Just as a disclaimer, I do curse, I do get vulgar. If that's not something that you want to hear, you can definitely click off. But I'm just here to be real, raw, and transparent. Lately, y'all, I have been going through it seems like everything in my life have crashed in the last few months. I do apologize for all the background noise. I'm at the park right now, and I just needed to get some fresh air. Oh. But man, I don't even know where to start. Last time I was here, I was giving you guys my introduction as to who I am, what I do, what brought me about starting a channel, and just having a safe space to speak openly about the struggles that I've been working at, overcoming. I'm doing a lot of things on my own to pursue dreams that I have, to be an independent contractor, to have business for myself that is flourishing, that is successful. I would be the first in my family that I know of on either side to own my own company outright and have it, just be flourishing and successful, like I said. But y'all, I've been hard at work for about the last 6 months to a year trying to get my mobile massage business off of the ground. And when I tell you it's been hard, I've crashed twice. I've had to go to the hospital twice. My most recent visit was my burnout. And I was in the hospital for a little over a week trying to get regulated because here in Louisiana, down south, it is extremely hot and humid. This is the hottest summer that we've had thus far. We're now heading into the fall season as per this recording, but I was working out in the heat of day. I was not drinking enough fluids. I got dehydrated. I had heat exhaustion. I had muscle fatigue. I wasn't sleeping properly. And I was stressed out. I had a lot of family and financial strain going on at the time that I was admitted into the hospital. And it was scary. It was really, really scary because apparently I was, my behavior had changed and I was manic. For the first time in my life, I just crashed and burned out. So let me give you guys some background. I believe I made this clear the first couple of videos, but we'll just pick up where I'm at right now. Y'all, so back in February, I was in the thickness of grief. About 4 years ago, I had I don't even know what to call it. I guess we would say a traumatic life event happened to me where all areas of my life have been challenged. And I've been working to elevate, outside of it. And the work that you have to do can be draining. It can be draining when you're doing it on your own, when you keep getting turnarounds, when you're not getting consistent feedback, when you do utilize your resources. Not everybody is on the same page. Administrators, talk different, are giving you different information from the workers on the floor. And then you got, you're fighting traffic, and you're fighting against just all types of little things that do build up, that cause you to either melt down or explode. So I imploded. I was dealing with so much of an internal battle that on the outside I just melted down. And I had to go and get help for that, which anybody who is struggling with their mental health, their emotional well-being, their spiritual and financial footing, I get the help that you need. I understand that it can be, pretty exhausting. It feels isolating. It's lonely. It can be scary. It's not, it can bring shame to you. You may feel embarrassed for having to even ask for the help you need, because you don't want to look like a charity case. But you're also withholding yourself from treatment that can help enhance you and better you, so that you are, able to withstand life, because it gets difficult. It's hard as shit. And like, back to my story. So back in February, after having gone into grief 4 years prior, I'm going to give you a background. 4 years prior to this, I learned my parents would be separating after 25 years of marriage. They came to an end with divorce. At the same time, I had a boyfriend who at the time was sick, and he was going through, he was in a cycle of mania that lasted 5 months. I had a business venture with a friend at the time who was very near to me. We had a 12-year friendship that collapsed after going into business together. And I lost $30,000 on that investment. And I was in school. I worked 3 jobs. I didn't have much help financially. And my boyfriend was in and out of the hospital. I mean, my parents were trying to separate all of their assets and co-parent my youngest sister. I felt like I didn't have a place to voice my experience and my grief, what did that look like for me at the time. What I did have was school, and I did have my classmates. I had work. I had those types of coping mechanisms to take my mind off of what was going on within my personal life. And dude, like 4 years after, I had started a business. I had completed massage therapy school. I had graduated, like, top of my class. I started a job in my career field. This was going on at the top of, this was going into the top of COVID, where the world had shut down due to the pandemic in 2020. Y'all, I was actually very thoroughly proud of myself, because regardless of all of the hardships and the bullshit that was going on, I'm gonna get into each one of these separately, because it was just so much. I can't talk about it in one video. But when those things happened, I was utterly devastated. But fast forward from 4 years ago to 6 months ago, back in February, my job my job at the establishment I was working at the time had some administrative setbacks, where for the first time in a while since the recession of 2008, we were all facing inflation, which the economy in the market was up. It was really high in inflation. Socioeconomically, we were all impacted by the rate of interest that had gone up across the market. My pay did not increase with the cost of living that had soared. Around that time, over, I would say, the fall, back in like, oh, I'm sorry, that's somebody that's moving grace. Over the fall of last year, 2022, they had inflation and interest was high across the market. I got the most distractions when I decide I want to do my little video about my life. Anyway, we gonna keep it rolling because I'm not finna edit this shit. I'm not finna edit this shit out. Anyway, like I was saying, going into the fall of 2022, administration was having a really difficult time keeping employees, having a steady flow. I worked at a spa, and for me, my hourly pay remained the same, but the cost of groceries, the cost of gas, the cost of rent, insurance, everything has went up by like 5%, and my pay did not equal what the costs were. So administration at my job decided that, oh, if you want to make more money, you have to touch more bodies for $2 more per hour that you service a client, which was not enough to wait 2 weeks to get paid and still maintain my life outside of that. So I was also fighting the court system to be repaid some of the debt that I incurred when I bottomed out for this business that I lost $30,000 investing into. And I had to go through the court system on my own. And for those of you who have had a lawsuit against you or have had to go and sue someone to be repaid what you invested, you know the court system takes forever. It seems like forever to get your issue resolved lawfully. So, y'all, I've been fighting that court case for like a year. I submitted a request to have a small claim in August of last year, at the top of the fall season, and it took me until the winter this year, it took me until March of this year to actually get a date to go to court to finalize a settlement. Y'all, I was out of there. I was so out of there. Not to mention, at the time all of this was going on, my parents, like I said, had divorced. It's now been 3 years since they were separated, but my dad decided to remarry, and we were not a part of the process. We did not get invited, like me and my sisters. We were not invited to any of the prenuptial gatherings. We were not a part of any of the ceremonial any of the ceremonial dates. We did not get to be formally introduced to his fiance. I don't know what any of that was about. And this most recent winter in January, I was in grief because my dad remarried someone who had not developed a relationship with his children. Granted, yes, we are grown, but we do still, have like, a heavy attachment, a heavy association to our dad. Like, Pops, you raised us, but you exclude us from your life when you divorce our mom? That doesn't make any sense. And then you marry someone who has no interest in getting to know your children and being a part of your new life now. So I went into a very deep depression, and I grieved my dad as if he had died right before my birthday, which was around the time I became ill at work with later I found out that I had developed right ovarian cyst, which was large on my fallopian, on my right fallopian tube, my right ovary, and it was so big that they had to give me medicine that would draw it out like radiation. The day that I had my last day of work was on my dad's birthday, actually, 2/17 of this past February of this year's 2023. Y'all, I was devastated. I didn't have anyone physically there for me. I wasn't even able to call around to my family and let them know I've been hospitalized. I had checked myself in. I quit my job because my health had been heavily affected. My immune system was poor. I had got sick with a very, very nasty head cold, which I believe was simply a severe sinus infection. It affected me all through here, and it never left my head. I didn't have any drainage. I was just stuffy in my sinus cavity. Y'all, I was total fuck up. I was total fuck up in February, and for about 3 months, I could not, within 3 months, I had no job. I didn't have income in. I had spent all of my savings in court trying to win a settlement, which I did, by the way, win my settlement. But going back to the court system to collect, they told me I have to spend more money to file paperwork to request that my defendants pay me monthly in wage garnishment. And I was just like, it makes no sense for me to pay this court system more money for a settlement I won just to receive 10% of what I lost back on my investment with a friend who essentially used my finances to align their agenda just to help them out with their life because they did not have income, which at the time I did not know. I did not know how unsteady their household was before I got involved with them financially, which I was just like, I don't know what God is doing in my life that all of these things are happening and I have no control. I've worked myself to the point of sickness. I've been hospitalized. I have not had anyone there beside me to help nourish me back to health. I've had to do all of that on my own. And most recently, after I went into grief with my dad being remarried, with me finally getting a settlement after 3 years of turmoil, financially trying to remove myself from the business venture with my friend and settling out of court in March. By April, I was completely tapped out financially. I had to ask family to help me afford my bills for the first time in my life. And then by May, I caught a break and was offered a job out of state in Tennessee, which did help me temporarily to pay myself forward for a couple of months. That way I could breathe and regain my stability. I'm still shaking back, but I was able to take a break from about July to August. And I did, in that time I was applying for jobs because essentially I was unemployed from February when I quit my job due to medical reasons until about now. I was offered a job about a month ago, and y'all, when I tell you I crashed out hard, I just went to the hospital as of the second week of August, and just at the time I was manic, but I did not realize how poorly my health had become as a result of all of these traumatic incidences. I was not looking forward to crashing out and going to a behavioral center to stabilize my body and my mentality, because I really was exhausted. I'm not embarrassed at all to say that, I've battled with I did not know that being physically and financially strained could affect my mentality as heavily as it did. I'm not ashamed to encourage other people to, hey, if you're not feeling well, if you're not doing okay, if you feel mentally, physically, and emotionally overwhelmed, that you should ask for proper care by the appropriate officials to get yourself stabilized. Like I said at the top of this video, I've had to do all of these things. Guys, I have tried every outlet that I could. I called around and was looking for some services for life coaches. I tried to go through like my health insurance. I also tried to go through my not just my health insurance or the medical bureau. I also tried to go through the parishes to call to have someone assigned to me, but those services cost. How could I have paid for the help that I was so desperately in need of that no one can physically see, because it appears like I'm straight. I am straight as of this video, but at the time all of this was going on, y'all, internally I was unwinding, but externally it looked like I was stable. And this is what many people go through who are battling with depression, are battling with anxiety, are battling with bipolar, or battling with a possible personality disorder. All types of things that could go on as a result of trauma, being traumatized by life, being traumatized by friends, family, the economy, car accidents, surgeries, explosions at work, plane crashes, all types of things that I deal with as a therapist when I'm touching people. When you're going through things like that, and it doesn't even have to be that extreme. If you've had a traumatic birthing or labor, if you've been divorced or are currently going through a divorce, if you are having trouble with respiration, if you have cardio disease, heart disease, if you've lost a child due to suicide, or all types of things that can go on in life cause you to endure trauma and throws your equilibrium off, causes you to have a chemical imbalance, and essentially causes you to flatline. you basically flatline because your system has been overwhelmed and your brain is trying to process as best as it can how to bring you to a state of balance. And I am all for people who, like me, are just going through the motions and are doing their best to maintain stability within their lives. On a momentary basis, I've had to learn to become present with myself. A lot of times it's really difficult to explain what you're facing internally without being ashamed or feeling like you're being judged because your life is not going the way you had planned. I sit here today just to tell y'all, it's okay not to be okay. It is not okay to remain unhealthy because you are experiencing overwhelm. And it is not okay to isolate yourself from loved ones, supporters, fans, people who can help you when you are going through a tough time in your life. I essentially withdrew, and I did it sober. It was like, it felt to me like I had been in withdrawal, and my body was shutting down on me, and I couldn't do anything to maintain my health. So, I literally had to encourage myself through keeping myself from thinking on having thoughts of doubt, having thoughts of sadness, being alone, not having help, when actually I did have it around me, but there was nothing they could do because they could not see what I was battling. It didn't appear that I had any issues because I did continue to work. I did continue to pay my bills. I did continue to engage with friends and family at functions. Nobody would have known that I actually am overwhelmed. Even though I would say that, my life did not reflect any bit of trauma. It didn't look like I was going through anything. So even if I would have gone to get help, I would have been turned away because there's nothing they can fix physically. and they can't do anything for me mentally until I have a break, a psychotic break. And essentially that's what I have gone through as a result of all of the circumstances that piled up. It seemed like it was just one thing after another. First was, and I had a conversation about this with someone in my family recently, but first my money went, then my health failed, then my body was broken down. I was in grief over a family situation, and then my mind was like heavily unwound. And when I tell y'all, it can be scary if you do not understand the way that the mind and the brain works. I wish it wasn't so much noise going on in the background, but oh well. I feel like it's necessary to start talking more so about, and I don't want to sound like I am ungrateful, like I'm whining or complaining or anything like that. I did not realize so many people do go through the same things, and divorce does not only affect the partners who are married, but if you do have children, it heavily affects the entire family, because you're unraveling a bloodline. you're detaching yourself from half of a life that you have built with another person and established that through the bondage of children. And I'm not saying that children causes you to be in a bind, but the depth of relationship you create through making life and bringing that forward with children, as innocent as they are when they first come out, it can be severely depressing. And essentially that is what happened to me. I went into a deep depression and have had to become hospitalized so that I could get regulated from experiencing grief. I am now healthy. I started a new job. I am getting all the help that I need from the resources that are around me. You guys, like, nobody can tell me there are no resources available for the help that you need. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to do the research, because there are plenty options available to you for you to stand on your feet. If you desire to be healthy, to be whole, to, be happy, to be complete within yourself, mind, body, spirit, soul, which is what I stand for. If you desire to, be prosperous in your life, to have abundance all around you, to be grateful for the life that you have, it starts in the mind. It starts with the hands. It starts with your heart posture. Whatever you think on, you bring forward in your life. And I have decided not to be a victim of my circumstances, but to be a victor over them. I'm hoping that this reaches whoever it needs to. Because if you're down, if you feel like there's nowhere to go, there is no hope for you, if you feel like you just can't make it, if you feel like, you know, there's no outlet, I am here to tell you, feel free to drop your comments under this video and let me know, like, you know, this is what I'm going through and what your words have encouraged me to continue moving forward in my life. If this can help just one person, I would just be so elated. Guys, like, I have had to scale it back to the basics. And sometimes that's what you have. You have life in your lungs. You are able to breathe. You can speak. You can see. You can walk. You can talk. You know, you can rub yourself and make yourself present. You can meditate. You can eat well. Eat clean. Drink water. Meditate. Join groups that are uplifting. Do yoga. Like, there's nothing wrong with going a holistic route and making yourself at peace within yourself from head to toe. And I think that's really all that I have to say for right now. I'm gonna get back to my day, but peace, love, blessings. It's been real, raw, and transparent with you, girl, Riri. I didn't do too much cursing this time, but I figure I will start sharing why I have gotten to this place in my life. You guys, I don't know what it is about entering into your 30s. Everything in your life changed. Seems like everything in life changed. My awareness has been awakened. It really, truly has been opened, and I have elevated in my level of maturity as to how I see life now. And for those simple things, I'm just truly grateful. If this reaches to anybody who finds it encouraging, thank you so much. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will do my best to be making more of these videos moving forward, because I find this is my truest, most honest, vulnerable, forthcoming way to engage with the public. A lot of times I do feel misunderstood. I don't feel like people resonate with me in a way that relates to their lives. And maybe that just may be because I'm not able to be around. I haven't been around many people since COVID, with social distancing and all types of effects. But I am going to do my best to overcome my own struggles, my own blockages, so that I make myself open to people who do need to engage, and I would be grateful for that. Until next time, it's been real, raw, and transparent with your girl, Riviera. Bye.